Hey, Miss Christie, check it out. I finally did it. I got a candle underwater burning inside a jar. But before I explain it to you, I need to welcome my friends, my little scientists, to Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. We're having a great time again today. Check out what I'm doing today. We've been talking about water. We've been talking about all the different things about water and doing some mystery type magic with water. Check this one out. When you look at this, it looks just like that candle is underwater. But watch, Miss Christie. It's not. You see that? It's not. Candle's behind it. We've been looking at all kinds of things about water and how it works and how molecules hold together for surface tension and all these things that we've done. And today we're going to look at some things that water does that can seem crazy to the mind. That's one of them. Water bends light as it goes through it, sometimes called optics. And so we're going to deal with this for a few minutes, talking about water, how crazy it is, and how it works. And in this case, it worked really, really good. No more fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to try a couple of things. And as Miss Christie gets close here for a minute, there's a couple of different ways that we can do this. Now, this is for moms and dads. You may think, I don't have a jar like this with water in it. It may be like not cylindrical like that, but maybe you have something like this. This is just a jar that we had that we emptied out, and it's full of water all the way to the top and put the lid. This is a great one for younger kids, but it's a homemade magnifying glass. Check that out. On this piece of paper, I had just 3 arrows that I drew. And we'll go back the other way. Black, blue, and red. Now, once you look at the paper, look how small they are. And then we'll do it again. See what the colors are doing? Okay, the arrows got a lot bigger. Why? Well, this layer of water is acting like a magnifying glass. And this is great. Kids, younger kids, older kids, you can do a lot of different things. A lot of different things that you might have at home. You can look at it. You don't have to roll it, but you can put it over something. Here's another one. I can put it over one of the ping pong balls we were using in one of our other units. Look how big the ping pong ball looks. As I move it, it gets smaller and bigger, and there are times where it doesn't look like a ball anymore, okay? And so I can move it different directions and change things. Maybe I can look from the side, maybe from the top, maybe rolling it. I can play with it. It's my own little magnifying glass that I can use. So it's just a jar with water in it, okay? So if I do something like this as Miss Christie gets down, check this out, all right? As I move it, things change as I move along. It may get really big. My hand may get really, really big. In my hand, the ball might get, now it's finally round. And it changes things. It's called optics. It changes the way things look. Now, where would you see something like this? Have you ever been in a pool and you can see something in the bottom of the pool? And maybe you're a really good swimmer. Now remember, kids, you don't go swimming without parents. You have to always have adult supervision. But you see something in the bottom of the pool and you dive down to go get it, and it's not exactly where you thought it was? Or it looked bigger than it was? Yeah, water bends light. We can get it to do things. We can have what they sometimes call an optical illusion. And we're going to look at a couple of those things. Okay, so we made our own magnifying glass. We looked at that candle, looked like it was inside the jar. But let's do this in a little different way. I'm going to start with this jar. I'm going to empty that jar. All this is just a cylindrical jar. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture behind it. Now, in that picture, again, I made arrows that were a little thinner. You got a good angle on that? Okay? Now, here's what the paper looks like. Okay? Black, blue, and red from the bottom to the top, and they're pointing to your right. Okay? So I want you to look at that and let her get in the right place, get set up. Okay? Now, watch what happens as I put this behind the jar. Not much difference, because it's just full of air right now. But I want you to see what happens. You got them in line, Miss Christie? Here we go. Watch what happens when I pour water inside. Watch the arrows. They're exactly the same. They're pointing that way. Miss Christie's saying no. They're pointing that way? They changed? Did you see me flip the paper over? Watch this. It's not flipped over. It flips it over. Isn't that weird? On the paper, they're pointing that way, but when I look at them through the jar, they're pointed that way. Now watch this. If I put them right behind the jar, they get real big. So that's like a magnifying glass. Okay, see that? It's like a magnifying glass. Same thing we saw with this big jar. Okay, that was acting like the big jar. This time, we're making it do something else. So let me show you that again. Up close, those arrows get really, really thick. They're not that thick on the paper. So it's magnifying when it's close. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of the trick. Ready? As I start backing up, all of a sudden there's a point at which they flip over. Okay? And it's flipped over before I ever stopped. So I tried to get to a focus. Now, here's a great one. It's called the focal point. Now, if you think about this, this is like your eye. Your eye lets light through. I have to wear glasses. When I was about 15 years old, I realized things were blurry. They looked sort of like that. Wasn't exactly clear like I wanted it to be. So I have glasses or I wear contacts so that it's more clear. And so it's really interesting how it does that. It flipped the arrow. Again, one more time. On the paper, they're pointing that way. But like that, they're going the other way, right? Now, here's another one that's crazy. Okay? It doesn't just flip arrows. Oh, so you're saying, Mr. Patrick, that if you use arrows, it flips the arrows. Not exactly. Watch this. Have a piece of paper. The green's on this side. Brown's on this side. So I'm going to put it close, so I want you to see it again. I just have its pieces of wrapping paper. Green on this side, brown on this side. Now, ready? Looking through the water. Green on this side. Brown on that side. No, Miss Christie's saying no again. What happened? It flipped. No, it didn't. Isn't that cool? Now, on the other side, we had some birthday wrapping paper. And so it says presents and surprise and cake. Oh, I love cake because it makes me happy, happy, happy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what words do. When you put them like this, I'm right behind the jar, it magnifies it. Okay, so I'm moving it along a little bit. You may not be able to read every word, but it magnifies it. Now watch what happens when I start backing up. They flipped upside down. They flipped upside down. Okay, so one more time. They're right side up. And then here it goes as we both come down behind the jar. They flipped upside down. Or the letters are backwards, right? How does that happen? Okay, they're turned backwards. They're not supposed to, you don't write, no, what? It's optics, it flips it. Now here's the really, really crazy one. Miss Christie grabbed a marker and said, let's try this one. So I want you to notice the lines are going up this direction. So they're going from bottom on your right to top left. Okay, so I'm gonna put them close. Okay, watch what happens now. Where are the lines? They're going like this, aren't they? Okay, even crazier. Watch this, ready? Check that out. Boy, that is weird looking. That does weird things to your eyes. I've seen all kinds of experiments that show when you're staring at one thing, it spins one direction. When you look the other way, it goes the other way. So watch this. Here it comes. Check that out. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy looking. And so it's an optical illusion to your eye as it goes through there. Now you may think, okay, I don't have any of that kind of stuff at home. You've seen one like this. Here's a straw and a glass of water. Ready? Look at that straw. Oh, I bought a broken straw. Does it look like it's together? Watch, I'm going to pull it out. Put it back in. It's an optical illusion. And so it's doing something really different. The water does something really different than air. Remember what I told you? Water's crazy. It's amazing. We can do all kinds of stuff with it. So in this, it's tricking our brain. We have to think, I know it's not bent. That straw's not bent. But when light goes through the water, it just changes things. I like going fishing. And sometimes when I catch a fish, I'm reeling it in. It looks huge. And then I get it up to the top of it. Oh, it looks a little smaller. How did that happen? Optical illusion. As the light's going through, it changes what its size looked like. We saw it with the ping pong ball. We saw it with the arrows on the cards. We saw it with the different patterns. And we see it even flipped this upside, or turned it around the other direction, didn't it? It's an optical illusion. So here's a cool one. So how can I use this to trick my parents or use science to do sort of a magic trick? Here's one I've got. I've got a glass, 2 glasses with quarters in them, okay? 2 glasses with quarters in them. And here's your magic trick. Here's what we're gonna do, okay? Here we go. I'm gonna put water in this glass. Can you see the quarter? Yeah. What color is that quarter? It's silver looking, right? Yeah, yeah, check it out. Magic quarter, go away! Same thing here. A little bit more water, if I'm correct. My quarter has disappeared. Am I right, Miss Christie? It's gone. Where'd it go? How can I tell where it went? Here's the trick. I'm going to do it again for you. Watch this. Under this glass is where the quarter is. Okay? In this glass, the quarter's inside. So I'm going to do it one more time for you. Let me pour my water out. It's all about where you stand. Okay? It's all about where you stand. So here's your magic trick. There's a quarter under this one, and there's a quarter in this one. Okay? So I'm going to get a bunch of water. Let me get 2 glasses. Okay? And so what I want to do is I want to pour water in there, and it's going to make it look like it disappears. Now, which is the one that disappears so that you know the magic trick? The one that has the quarter under it. So I'm going to do them together. You ready, Miss Christie? Here we go. Which one disappeared? That one. It's gone. Am I right? It's gone. And so you just have to stand at the right angle. Okay? And you have to play with it a little bit. Okay? Now, let's see what it looks like. She got it that time, and you can fool your parents. And by the way, if you move and you get a different angle, you can then see the quarter. Okay? If you look from the top, okay? If you look from the top, there's both quarters. You can see them both. Now watch as she gets the angle again. All right? As you come down, this one looks like it disappears. Okay? It's all about the angle. Okay? And so you have to play with it. That one's really, really, really cool. And you got to practice just like Miss Christie and I are with the camera. Okay? Now, to end today, I want to show you one more trick that we can do with water. Now, I'm going to move my stuff out of the way. And what I'm going to do here is I need 2 glasses. And this time you're going to need a place to catch water. Whew, don't make a big mess. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to take 2 glasses. And I have a plastic card. Now this comes from a little card game that I have. So you'll want a plastic card. If you have playing cards, a little bit bigger playing cards, if they're more plastic than paper, they work great. Let me show you what happens. I'm going to take and fill up a glass with water. And I want to get it all the way to the top, like that. And I'm going to set it inside here. Now, I'm going to take the other one and do the same thing. Now, here's your warning. I'm using glasses, so they're made of glass, and I've got to be careful, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. You saw part of this trick before, okay? Take my card, put it on flat, turn it upside down. Surface tension, all right? No big deal. We did that, okay? We've done that before. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it on top of this one. This is where you have to be careful, kids, okay? Now what I have to do is I have to hold both glasses, but I'm going to pull the card out. Now it's going to spill just a little bit, but I'm trying to keep top glass right over the top of the bottom glass, just like that. Now look what's happening. All right, check that out. Isn't that awesome? Water in both of them. Now, surface tension, we talked about how it sticks to it, and it's an optical illusion, okay? They can't be doing that, can they? Yeah, they can. And then here comes the really cool part, okay? I've seen this one before, and I'm going to try to do this one. This one's a little harder. Miss Christie might have to get a different angle. But what I barely have on the side is a tiny, tiny gap. And I'm going to take a straw, and I'm going to blow water into that gap. See if I can do that. Check out what's happening. When I'm blowing air in there, is it filling the bottom cup? No, because air does what? It rises. And as I fill that top cup with water, the only place water can go is come out, and it's coming into this jar. It looks like magic. I'm just blowing air. How's that do it? They don't have to know. You blow it right at the gap. Almost there. I'm going to stop right there. Now look how much air I blew in there. I blew all that air inside. You saw it bubbling up inside, and it pushed the air out. And so, it pushed the water out. There's air in this part, and there's water right there. Now, did I really change the water in there? No. Why? Because they were pushed on top of each other. That card held it, and when I pulled the card out, water's pushing on itself. And as it's pushing on itself, I made it do something else with air. Remember, water is amazing. We can get it to do some crazy things. We've done so many fun things this week on our show. We've had a great, great time. Now, you got to be careful right here. When you go to take that apart, it's going to spill, and make sure you don't break your mom's glasses, but you also don't want water everywhere. We've done all kinds of cool things with optics. Water makes things look different. We've done all kinds of things this week and had a great, great time. If you've done any of the things that we've done this week, put some pictures down at the bottom so I can see what you're doing. I'm having a blast. I hope you're having a blast. I know Miss Christie is. Baxter, he's asleep. Don't worry about it. Everything's safe. We're having a great time on Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. We'll see you next week. Having a great time with this crazy thing, science and water all week long. See you later.